What's good, YouTube? It feels so good to be back. Man, it's October. And, I've been doing YouTube. I think this is my fourth year, coming on my fourth year. And ever since I started, there's been somebody that's always had my back, supported me on my channel, helped me grow, showed me love, treated me like a brother, invited me to his house, just done everything above and beyond when it comes to not only being someone that supports you in what you do, but also being a friend. Zach Hill, IT Career Questions, has helped me and hundreds of thousands of others, if not millions of others, get their career on track and stay motivated. And today I'm honored to have my friend Zach on the channel. What's up, Zach?
What's going on? What's good? I'm honored to be here, man. You have no idea. I am honored to be here talking with you, just as I always am. And I don't know if a lot of people know, like, we have this relationship outside of this, right? Like, we talk on the phone all the time, text message like each other all the time. And I come to you for advice, you come to me for advice. Like, you're my bro. Like seriously, like, you're one of my best friends. So it's an honor for me just to be here with you, talking to you and your audience.
Man, true story, man. True story. It feels super good to be doing this, man. Let me get some love to the chat, man, before we start, because I haven't done an interview in over a month, and so I want to say what's up to all the subscribers and people that are watching this video. Thank you. And you know how I like to start an interview. So I want to know, where are you located around the world? In the US, we have this thing called an area code. So put your area code in the chat. Let me see it. If you're outside the US, let me see what country you're representing. Put your country in the chat, and I'm going to do some shout outs. My guy, Sam Jones, what's good? 919.
Hey, they're saying they got a lot of, that my mic has a lot of feedback.
It does?
That's what they're saying. You hear me all right, though?
Yeah, I do. Let me see.
Might be OBS or something.
All right, let me see. How about now?
Now we'll start talking and people can let us know. It sounds like a chorus effect, somebody says.
All right, let me see. There's an echo.
We'll see if there's an echo now that they say still there.
All right, let me see. Talk, Zach.
I'm talking, I'm chatting. What's good? Yep. Everybody's echo. Oh man, we'll get this fixed. Don't worry. If anything, we'll call tech support. We'll get this handled. No problem.
How about now?
Still talking. Yeah, it's like a reverb and some delay. Still hear me pretty clear though. Oh, somebody said fixed.
Fixed.
Echo going. Mic too low. All right.
Okay. No, that's me.
That's
you?
Me.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
let me get some headphones. Time out.
Oh. Yeah, that's why I always do the headphones.
It's an easy fix.
This is why I love doing live streams, man, because you never know what to expect. It's always something different. It's like the world of technology. Like, you walk in for your day, like, you never know what to expect sometimes. You get everything thrown at you.
Man, I do the same setup every time, so it's weird that we got the feedback. All right, let me see. All right, talk, Zach.
Talking. You hear me?
Yeah, I do. All right, how about now? How's it sound?
Did we get it fixed? Perfect. Somebody says perfect. All right. Now we're ready to rock and roll.
Now we ready to rock and roll. All right, let's get back to these shout outs real quick. Let me see. 504 in the building, 503 in the building, 252-347-704. What's good? Early. 219.
We got bros in different area codes.
This is facts. 347. What's up? Cares runs on Duncan. What's popping, family? 612-313-919. Carolina's in the building. 815 Okay, Zach, I see you. 407-803-919. All right, cool. We back in the building. 704-305. All right. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. Like, this is gonna be dope. And I think this is like the best looking live stream to like hit the internet, man, because you look really clear and crisp. This looks good.
You look really clear and crisp. I wonder what kind of camera you're using there.
I think I'm using one that you suggested. That Sony A7 or 7A, whatever, 7 Alpha. Yeah.
A7 III.
A7 III.
What's up, man? That's a good camera. I would have been using that one for this live stream as well, except it didn't turn on. So I'm using the Sony A9, and it is crisp.
It is crisp, but you still look good, bro.
You do too. We're both looking good.
Yeah. The beard is popping. You shave your beard, bro.
Yeah, I did, man. I've been getting on this whole new track of life, man. Like taking things differently. Somebody asked, Zach, did you lose weight? I did. I lost 52 pounds since March.
Ooh. Congratulations, bro.
Yeah, look. there he goes right there with the super chat.
Hey, thanks. Muko Shamar. Thank you. Says, Zach, did you lose weight? You look pretty good and toned up. Yeah, you do look good, man.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot because I got clothes that are fitting me now that haven't fit me in years, and it just makes me feel amazing. Like, just like taking care of yourself sometimes can really be a true difference. You know, that's like the world of IT. Like, I feel like a lot of people like tend to like stop taking care of themselves. And you see that, and I know you've seen that. Like people just, like they don't take their health as serious because they're sitting in front of a computer all day long. And it's like, what do you do? How do you do it? And man, like the one thing that like everybody told me was like, you have to eat less. Like you have to eat less, Zach. And that was like the hardest thing for me because like if you guys have seen me, you see me right now. Like I'm a big boy. I love to eat. I do, but like I cut back on eating, and that was huge. So that's what it takes. I don't know. A lot of different stuff. Anybody, but you got to take your health serious because in the long run, we want to be here as long as we can doing big things. So,
hey, that's good, man. I'm down 25 this year.
Heck yeah.
Trying to walk more. I've been walking a lot. I walk probably in the mornings. I walk every day, probably about 3 miles every day.
That's good.
Yeah. Get that blood flowing.
That's right.
Super chat from Kev. Tech IT support. IT support. Thank you, family, for the super chat. We've got to get you on the channel, bro.
Definitely.
Appreciate you. Shout out to Kev. Y'all make sure y'all go check Kev out.
Thanks, Kev Tech.
All right, Zach, man. Let's get this thing started. I think we did enough introductions, and we got everybody comfortable and ready for this interview. Now they want the sauce.
The sauce.
Yeah, they came for the sauce, so we got to make sure that you drop the sauce, man.
All right. What you want? You want me to start from the top?
Yeah, let's start from the top on. Matter of fact, start from the top of you dropping out of college. I want to hear that story, man.
Dropping out of high school?
Yeah, out of high school. Yeah, my bad. Yeah. High school.
Yeah, I was actually just talking about this today with the old lady. Of all, like, so it's funny, but I was 14 years old. And I was playing football. Like football was like a huge passion of mine. Like I was in the sports. I was total jock. My freshman year of high school, they wanted to move me up to varsity, and like I wasn't really ready for that, so I didn't do it, which is fine. But like immediately after the football season ended, like the week before it ended, I, for whatever reason, like just didn't want to wake up and go to school. Like I was just like, I don't want to do it. I'm not doing it today. It's not going to happen. Like, and that just continued. Like just for days, for weeks, where like I would be arguing with my parents. Like, I'm not going to school. I don't want to get up. Like, I just want to sleep. Right. And my parents didn't know what was wrong with me. And they ended up calling a truancy. My dad ended up calling a truancy officer on me. I remember I had this officer coming downstairs into my room, and I'm like listening to music and stuff. And like the guy's trying to talk to me. whatever happens, but the guy says to my mom and dad, like, your son is depressed. Your son is having some issues, and you need to take him somewhere and find out what's going on. And, this is back in 1999, and things were completely different then on how they handle mental health. But my mom took me somewhere, and like I was diagnosed with like depression, anxiety, all that stuff. And I didn't even know. Like, I had no idea. I didn't even understand what was happening at the time. All I knew is like I didn't want to do anything. And so nobody could make me go to school, right? Like I was bigger than my parents were, so like they couldn't physically force me to go to school. And I was just so completely out of it. And being 14, 15 years old, like, you don't understand like what's happening to you at that time. And still looking back, I don't understand what happened to me at that time. I just know that like I wasn't feeling myself. So that right there in itself was like a blessing and a curse. And I tell you why it's a curse, obviously, because like I missed out on a lot of social interaction. I missed out on learning a lot of things. So that definitely held me behind in a lot of ways, I feel like. But what it did do for me, like what the blessing was, is that in the year 2000, so literally about a year after this had happened, I bought this book called HTML for Dummies. And I had a friend of mine, he was doing websites, and he's like, look, like if you want to do it, like you gotta learn. And here's how you learn. I bought the book. And like that's where like the journey begins, man. Like that's where like this whole thing begins. Because I dropped out of high school, like I spent all of my time learning how to develop websites. So here I am, like 15, 16 years old now, building websites. And I was building hundreds of websites at this time. And I was building websites for other people. I was making money doing it. And it was all from me, just like what I could teach myself and what I could learn that was available on the internet at that time, which was not very much. Back in 2000, right? Like Google wasn't even a thing, right? Like Google wasn't the thing that it is today. So it was definitely much different. So yeah, dropping out of high school, yeah, like I just say it's a blessing and a curse, because I missed out on so much, but at the same time, like it got me to where I am today, ultimately. And not that I would recommend anybody like do that, right? Like I was just at a place where like I didn't know what to do with my life. I was 14 years old and was depressed, right? Like I shut down completely. And the only kind of like outlet that I had was building websites, was like teaching myself how to do this. So everything that I've done throughout my career is like been me self-taught, teaching myself how to do things, because there was no one else that was going to be there to do it for me. There was no way that I was going to be going to college to do it, because I didn't even get my GED until 2010, right? So that's like, putting everything into perspective. Like in 2009 is when I made this transition from like web development to getting into more of the infrastructure side of things. So even in like the later end of like 2008, I started doing consulting work with a friend of mine. And so we would go to residential houses, we would go to small businesses and do just basic like IT support. Like back then it was like much easier. We do like virus scans and stuff all day, like remove viruses, just reformat computers all day, back up their data, reformat, that type of thing. It's all just like really basic, easy stuff, but like there was a need for it. And when I found like myself doing that, when I found myself doing this more like quote unquote like infrastructure like side of things, like I found that I had this passion for it. I was like, wow, this is so much more fun than sitting behind a desk and writing HTML, PHP, and CSS all day. I want to do this. Like, this is where it's at. So yeah, it's like 2009 and to like 2010ish is when I really made that transition. Like, I am never going to touch a website ever again as long as I could live. Like, I was just burnt out. I couldn't do it anymore. And yeah, so that's when I made like this transition into like the IT side of things. I guess I kind of like went beyond like dropping out of high school, but that's what's up.
No, I just think it's interesting that when you dropped out of high school, you don't often hear about people picking up a book when they drop out of high school and learning something. You know what I mean? So I think the fact that you found this book, and even though you weren't in high school and you were trying to figure out your life and you really didn't understand what was going on, you still had the awareness to say, let me find something I'm interested in and go after it. So I think just from what I know about you, always been the type of person to go after what you desire. And you're not going to let nothing stop you, whether it's not having a degree or not having the resources, you're going to figure it out. And I think at that point, you really define who you are and what you're going to do because you owned it. And salute to you for doing that.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And there's like a real, like, a very emotional part to this is like when I was 15, it would have been like my sophomore year of high school. My mom is a saint, and I hope my mom is watching this right now because she usually does watch all, like, everything that I'm part of. My mom is like my biggest cheerleader ever. I love her to death. She did everything for me, man. Like, she was just there constantly. But she was trying to like get me to like do homeschool stuff and all this stuff. Like, she was just working with the school systems, and like there was this one principal of the school that flat out told her right to her face, like, your son is a lost hope. He's a lost cause. You just need to give up on him and kick him out and let him figure it out. And I just remember my mom telling me this afterwards and how like completely like devastated she was having somebody of authority, right, tell her this about their own kid. And I was like, I am never going to let somebody say that like I'm a lost hope or that they need to give up on me like that. Right. That's never going to happen again.
Right.
So to me, like at that point, it's like it's game on, right? Like nobody's going to say that. Like nobody's going to say that to my mom, first of all, right? Like, no, I'm going to prove you wrong. Like, forget that. So like that was like a huge thing in that whole like transitional area, I guess, that like happened where it's like, nah, man, I'm going. Like, I'm not gonna be able to do the school thing. Like, I can't be around people. Like, it's not, it's not where I was, but I'm going to crush this website thing. Like, that's what I'm going to do. And dude, I did that like 16, 18 hours a day. Cause I didn't have like a regular job. I wasn't going to school. Like, I just literally sat in front of a computer all day. And yeah, so it's like, it's just crazy to like, I was saying this to the old lady today, like, it's just crazy to think like, hey, I dropped out of high school, taught myself this, and look at where I'm at today.
Right.
And it's surreal to think about it. Cause if you would have said 20 years ago, Zach, you're going to be doing this, like you're a liar. There's no way it's not, if you would have told me this, like even 10, 15 years ago, like, no, not a chance. Right. Man. So like, I feel blessed to be where I am today, for sure. But I'm also, like, I just feel proud of myself because I put in that work, man. And it's like, I want people who are in positions like that, similar to that, like what I experienced, like, you guys got to take some of those W's that you do get and recognize yourself for that. Cause it's really going to make an impact on you, like recognize at least what you are doing, because the more you recognize the good things that you're doing, the more you start to have those feelings. I promise you.
Man, I'm the worst person about celebrating my victories, and I'm the worst person about acknowledging my impact. I don't do that. Like, I don't, like, it's hard for me to do that. And I think reminding people that is important, because nobody else is going to value you the way you value yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
for sure.
It sucks because, with you dropping out of school and someone telling you about, that you're basically a lost cause or whatnot, you actually entered to one of the most competitive industries. You know what I mean? That often will give up on people and leave people behind because it's so competitive and there's so much required. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, let me throw this at you too. Cause like back then, so like in 2002, then I was 18, would have graduated high school at that point. Right. Like that would have been my senior year. So like 18 years old, I'm like, all right, what am I going to do? And like, I got my mom and dad like, well, you can get your GED and go to college. Like, if you want to make like this big change and like fix your life and stuff, like, here's your opportunity. I still was not prepared for that mentally, emotionally, and all that. But like, I started looking into going to school for like web development. I was like, here's my thing. Like I could just breeze through college, right? But like as I started looking into like going to college for it and talking to people who are in the field, they're like, no, this field's oversaturated. You don't want to work in this field. Like that's what everybody was telling me in 2002. Don't do it because it's oversaturated. It's going to be a waste of time. And people still hear that to this very day. And I can assure you, and I promise you that this field is in no way, shape, or form oversaturated. We need people in this field. We needed people back in 2002. We needed them in 2010. We need them in 2020. We are going to need people in IT because that is the trajectory that this world is going.
You know what? Like, people ask me for advice on what they should do. They'll give me let's say they want to be in cybersecurity or they want to be a network engineer, right? What I've been doing lately is having them look up, let's say like 25 jobs for each. And then looking at the job description and finding out the ones they want to apply for. Because the thing that I find is a lot of people, when they come to me, someone's already giving them advice on what they should do. And I don't think that's really the right approach in helping guide someone into IT because it's a demanding career. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, eventually you're going to make so much money that you're going to get burnt out. And you know what I mean? You're kind of trapped in a position. You know?
Yeah. Well, so like I get that too, like every day, like, hey, Zach, how do I get into cybersecurity? Hey, Zach, how do I become a network engineer? I'm going to be doing a video about this, like actually, hopefully very soon. I say that, but I got so much going on. Like, but right. No, like the video is literally going to be like, where I'm breaking down like, hey, how do you become a network engineer? Well, I'm going to ask 100 different people how they became a network engineer because every single one of those people are going to tell you a completely different story. Yeah. So like when somebody is giving you advice, when I'm giving you advice, when Duan's giving you advice, like I think a lot of times we try to like sum up like a lot of like what different people are saying, but it's true. Like you could go out on LinkedIn right now and find 100 different network engineers and ask them all that same question. How did you get started? And they're all going to tell you something completely different from one another. There is no set path for this field. There's nothing saying in concrete, this is how you do it. But if you take what those 100 people say, you're going to find a lot of common things that they say. And, you're going to find a lot of like unique things that they've done. And if you can like take that and put it together and find out like, these are the things that line up with you personally, like that's going to be your path, right? You're going to make your own path. You're creating your own story, So definitely like listen to what people are saying for sure. But like you cannot just rely on what one person did and say that is the right path because it's not your path. That was their path,
That's the truth. Well, let me ask you this before we talk about like how to get started in tech and certifications. What do you think the most important thing is when not just getting started in tech, but to advancing your career? What do you think that one most important thing is?
Man, the one most important thing?
Yeah.
For me, I guess like just right off the bat, like, the first thing that comes in my head is just like that willingness to learn,
Yeah.
I there's so many different things. Like what is I don't know. Like I could tell you 10 different things that I think are important. But like at the end of the day, like if you are somebody who could sit down and learn this, like I think you could be successful, right? Like, it's not for everybody. Not everybody can do this, but if you can sit down, figure this out, and you start to enjoy it, like you could make it in this field, you know, like, and that's outside of like having like great customer service skills because like those are fantastic and those help propel you tremendously, right? So sorry, I don't think that really answered your question entirely, but I guess that's the first thing that comes to mind. What are your thoughts on that? I'm gonna throw back at you.
I think relationships, man. I think ultimately it's gonna be your character. You know what I mean? Because like you said, you got to have a willingness to learn. You have to be committed to it. So your character is a big part, but I think relationships is like an even bigger part because if like people believe you, trust you, and they know you, like you can go pretty far in this IT career field. And I mean, I know I'm a black guy saying this, but I'm gonna be honest. Like a lot of everything that's happened to me is because of, one, my character, and two is the relationships. Like I've been able to get jobs just because of who I knew. Like not myself jobs, but get other people jobs that have zero experience. Just because they say they want to do this, and I know somebody that's hiring for that, and I say, you know what, you're working on your CCNA or you're working on your A plus. Well, find me some jobs you're interested in. Oh, okay. Well, you're interested in this company. Well, I know the hiring manager. Let me reach out to the hiring manager on LinkedIn and connect you, and they get hired just because of the relationships. You get what I mean?
Yep.
Like
yeah,
I think
networking,
that's
man. Networking.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, that's kind of like as you're kind of getting into the field, like you start building your network and those relationships. So like, I guess for people who are like trying to break into this field, right? And that's like the biggest thing. Like a lot of people really don't understand the power that LinkedIn has. Whether
Exactly.
you're just starting out or you're trying to advance your career, or you're just at those starting blocks, right? Like LinkedIn is literally like the most powerful social media platform if you're trying to get a job. And I see these stories every single day. Like this platform is huge for this. So like you want to get into this field, get on LinkedIn and start connecting with the people that relate to the areas of the field that you want to get into, right?
Yep.
Start building those connections. Start finding, go to like meetup.com, find out what meetups are in your area and start talking with these people, asking them questions. Some of them, I'll be straight up, like they won't respond to you. They may not answer you. They may not want to do it, but I promise you that there are people out there just like Duan and I, like who will take that time and help you. Like that is one of the greatest things I've seen from the IT community as a whole, is that there are millions of people like us who want to help you. They truly, honestly do. They do exist. They're not unicorns. Like there are a lot of people out there. And like, if you don't want to go to the meetups and stuff, get on Discord, because there are like a ton of great Discord servers. Like KevTech IT support, he has an amazing Discord server. That's a great place to go check out and try to like figure out like the ins and outs of this field, because he's got thousands of people in there who are helping people at these beginning stages, right? And then of course, like there's tons of other Discord servers that are related to like basically every single other area of IT. You want to be a network engineer? There's a network engineer Discord out there somewhere waiting for you, like legitimately, and cyber, like there's a ton that are amazing. But yeah, those are great ways to just like start with that, with getting started, I guess, type of thing.
Thanks, Zach. Hey, let me do some shout outs, man. We got some super chats that I missed.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Hey, let me start from the top. My guy, Gabe, thanks for the super chat, family. Good to see you. Josh, keep it techie. Y'all make sure y'all check him out. What's up, family? He said, what up, fellas? Glad to see you guys live streaming. Josh is doing some great things. He got some great interviews and great contents, and he's really focused on Linux. What's up? What's up, Josh? Let me see. Princess, I see you. James, what's up? Mr. Nix, what's up, buddy? From Youngstown, from the 330 in the building. What's good, family? Appreciate your support. John Jean, he said, I've been watching both of you guys on YouTube. You guys have been an inspiration to me in a lot of your videos. Thanks for all the good contents. Thank you for the super chat. Cisco Soldier, a.k.a. Uncle Trey. What's up, family? Thanks for the super chat. Dakota, your guy. Thanks for joining us, Dakota. Good to see you, family. And Tam, what's up, Tam? I got to have you on the channel. Make sure y'all go check out Tam for the Women in Linux content. But she helps everybody, not just women in Linux, but everybody. And the bearded IT dad. What's up, family? Thanks. My guy, Patrick. Appreciate the super chat, family. All right. And everybody that's tuning in, we appreciate you all joining us. Now back to it. Zach, the question I want to ask you is, for people that want to get started in tech, how do you go about that? Like, how do you get started in this thing called IT?
A loaded question, man.
Loaded question.
It's a question that like I literally receive multiple times a day at this point. And it's like I always go back to these people because like it's such a bland question. Like I was saying, like, how do I get into cybersecurity? How do I get into networking? How do I get into this? How do I get into tech in general? It's like, you actually, as the individual, like you were saying, like, you have to take the time and sit down and research some of this stuff on your own and really kind of understand it. Because I could tell you my perspective of it. Duan's going to tell you his perspective of it. They're going to be different. I promise you, because Duan and I have talked about this many times, and we feel differently about some things, right? And that's okay, because like that's your perspective, and that's what is can help people be successful. And it's not that I feel like you're wrong. I know that you're right, but like I see it from like this perspective, and I know this perspective works as well, right? So like really, it's like you have to like filter everybody out for a minute. Like you have to like filter out all these voices like from influencers, like us or whatever, like saying like, here's what you need to do. Like, yeah, we're going to give you some really good baselines. Like we're going to give you some ideas on what it is that you need to do to get started. But like you have to sit down and look at these different job titles, look at these different areas in IT, and find out what lines up with like your interest based on that. So Google, what does a network engineer do on a daily basis or whatever, like a day in the life of whatever job title. You're going to find results for that, right? So look and see what these people are doing. Look and see what they're saying about it. Look and see like what technologies that they're using. And then like start to build like this kind of idea in your head, like, oh, like this like specific area sounds really interesting to me. And that's kind of the way I want to go. And once you kind of figure that out, then I think all the other like pieces of the puzzle start falling into place. Like once you like identify like I want to be a network engineer, well, like, okay, well, I got to learn networking. So we could start with the CompTIA Network Plus, right? We could start with the CCNA, which is that's the best certification that you can get when it comes to networking for sure, right? Like those are going to be like those steps that you take, like, and then you're gonna build a lab, and you're gonna lab every day. Like those are crucial steps to like really getting yourself started in this field. Are they always the right steps? Is always the right path? No, but like from my perspective, from what I've seen from, doing my YouTube channel for the last 7 years, like that stuff is going to help you tremendously. Like it is going to help you tremendously. And if you're at this point where like you just want to work in IT, you don't know what you want to do yet, that's okay, because there's millions of people like that. They're like, man, technology sounds so cool. I know I can make a lot of money doing it. I'm interested in computers. It's always like the same people. Like I've built my own computer and now I want to work in IT, right? Like if that's you, all right, great. Like you could still get started and figure out your path later, because if you're just trying to get your foot in the door, you're trying to get started in this field, any type of entry level role, like a help desk role, right, is going to help you really understand exactly what you want to be doing. And I always recommend that to like everybody. Like just go work the help desk for like a year or two. Like you get so many different technologies thrown your way. Like you start to learn like these are the things I like and these are the things that I don't like, so you start to build like that kind of like journey from that, but so like starting off with something like the CompTIA A+, like that's going to be kind of like your go-to, and you're going to get in the help desk and you are going to like propel your career from that easily. I feel like sometimes when you identify exactly it is what you want to do, that path to success is often kind of difficult, because it's like you think that you have to do XYZ things, to get started based off of what people say. But like, man, go work the help desk for a year and you're really going to figure this stuff out. Like you're really going to figure out like exactly what it is that you need to do.
That's a really good point. When it comes to working the help desk, that's one of the best things that happened to me in my career, because you get to talk to customers and work with different products for that company, understand how operating systems work. And then you also get to work with different team and business units within the company. So you understand how software developers operate. You can ask them questions. Network engineers, you can ask them questions. And you can, the server, systems guys, cloud guys, you work with external vendors. Like you're the central point for the entire IT operations. And so you get to soak up all of that information if you do it right. You know what I mean? And you can build some great relationships. So that's some good advice.
Yeah, and I'm not saying like that's always the right path for everybody, because like just as well as I know, like there's people out there who are like they're hungry, Like they are hungry for this and they go all out. You know, I see people who come to us like all the time, no experience, no nothing. They're like, I've been working this job in accounting for the last 5 years. I hate it. And I want to work in tech. What do I need to do? And, you know, people like us will be like, well, here's some of the things that you could do that will help you. And you know what? Like there's people out there who take that and they run with it. I mean, they don't jog, they don't walk. Like they literally hit that ground running as fast as they can. And it blows me away when I see these people do it. I'm like, I like beyond words. I literally have people like 6 months later, like, hey, because you told me to do this, like I was able to get this job. And I'm just like, you just put in all that work right now? Like you just like, they're getting like 3 certifications in like 6 months. And they're building their own labs. Like they are getting into it. Like, so there's people out there who are that hungry. Like they're going to blow by the help desk. Like they're gonna blow people away, right? Like they are gonna wow people. So like that does exist also, but like that's where it becomes a problem for people who are trying to get into IT, because they hear these stories about these people and they see these stories about these people, because you know as well as I do, when you get on social media, you only hear the good stuff. It's all you ever hear, right? That's it. You never hear the bad stuff. So you hear these great stories from these people who, you know, got a network engineer job 6 months later after they just got started like studying for their CCNA, right? Like, yeah, it happens, you know, but that's not everybody, right? Like that is not everybody. That is not the real world. Like it takes a lot of determination. It takes a lot of grit to get that done. And it's okay if that's not you. You don't have to be that person. You don't have to look up to these people and say, well, they did it, so I can do it. That's not the way life works. Like, you have to take the time and understand it from your level, from where you're coming from. So if that CCNA takes you a year, 2 years, like that's okay. Like that's what it is. Like that's the time that it takes you to understand like the information that you're learning, retain that information that you're learning, and be able to actually do something with it, right? Like that doesn't mean that you're any less valuable than the person that did it in 6 months. Like that's not at all what that means. That means that person that did it in 6 months, they just learn differently than you. Like, right? Like that's what it comes down to. Every single one of us learns differently from one another. Some of us can do amazing on like a certification exam. Some of us just completely bomb out on it, right? Like there's just so many different like variables here when it comes to getting into IT, getting started in IT, propelling your career in IT. There's variables everywhere that you look. So don't look at all these success stories and say, like, I can do that. That's got to be me because they did it. I can do it too. No, like you get to create your own story. So make it a good one.
Man, I'm glad you brought that up because like you can be successful in IT, especially if you find exactly what you're meant to do. You know what I mean? If you get in the right lane, you get around the right people, and you put in the right amount of effort, you can get the output that you're looking for. But it's often you'll get on social media and you can compare yourself to others, right? Like me, I'll never compare myself to somebody that doesn't have kids and they can put in all their time to achieve their goals. Like I got 4 kids, you know what I mean? I got a full-time job. I help people online. So my journey is going to be totally different than someone else. And your journey, same thing. You may be having a single mom, or you may got some health issues. Like you can't compare yourself to anyone else. And this, like you also can't compare like when your success happens, because somebody could be successful early in their journey and then they stagnate, or you could be successful later in your journey. Like I was in IT, 14, 15 years before I even started making over 50 something thousand. You know what I mean? Like it took me forever to actually get out of the help desk. Like I loved customer service, but I didn't believe that I could get anywhere else. Like it was all like a dream to get the CCNA. Now I don't think I could learn that. You know what I mean? Because I would pick it up. This makes no sense. But finally it clicked. So you just got to kind of stick with it, get around the right people, surround yourself with somebody like Zach. You're going to be motivated and you're going to achieve your goals, because success breeds success. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah, for sure. for sure. There's a lot of people saying like, yeah, just don't compare yourself to others, y'all. Like that's the worst thing that you can do. When you start putting yourself in that mindset, like it's constantly a race. You're just you put yourself in a rat race that you don't need to be in. Like the
Yeah.
moment that you compare yourself to anybody is the moment like that, like the jealousy comes out, like all these negative feelings. Like no, don't do it. Like you literally you have to stop. And if that means like you getting off of social media, well then get the heck off of social media, because it's like social media is terrible for this. Like I've had this conversations like multiple times with people. Like it literally like it can be a very bad thing for you, and you're just starting out because you have like this false like sense of like what is success and who is successful and what that means and how you get there. It's like nah, like you guys just have to like sit back and take it from your own perspective always. So
Yeah.
like it's great to look at others and like see their success and be like, oh, that's how they did it, that's great. Like look at them, give them props, you know, good job, right? You might not be able to do that in the time that they did it or in the way that they did it or whatever, right? Like you just have to like pay attention to like the best way that you know for you, the best things for you.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like we all are like want to achieve goals, but if you think back in the day, you would read a book, a biography about somebody and get motivated and inspired, learn their journey. Social media is kind of different. It has a different effect because like as people, we can only take in so much information a day. And for me, what I found was like when I got my CCNA and CCNP, I really wasn't on social media at all. So all the information I took in was around Cisco. That's all I talked about. That's all I read, and that's all I did. But once I got on social media, my life kind of evolved. And what I found is that in order for me to get to where I want to go next, like, yeah, I want to help people, but social media is going to be the limited amount of like intake that I put in my life. I thought I was doing a good job at limiting my intake, but now like I don't keep Twitter on my phone. I don't keep YouTube on my phone. Don't keep LinkedIn on my phone. I never do Facebook, you know, and I just focus on, all right, what are my goals? Focus on that. What are my priorities? My family. Okay. What do I need to do? My job. And outside of that, can I help somebody today? Yes. Let me set aside an hour to help the people that really need help. You know, and then you got to learn how to vet people to say, okay, who are the people in my life that I can really add value, that really need it, and who are the people that's going to help me grow? Like you got to surround yourself with the right level of input and output.
Yeah, 100%. I can't say that any better, honestly. It's on point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm
go
not
ahead,
saying
bro.
like sorry, I heard like a weird noise. I'm like, I'm the only one here. There must be a ghost back here. I don't know.
Yeah, it's October.
Yeah,
It's
right.
It's
For
Freddie.
sure. Could be. Hey, at least we'll be on a live stream. So if, you know, anything happens, I got witnesses. I forgot what I was gonna say now. So go ahead.
All good. Hey, there was a question from Taekwon Gong. Shout out to Tay or Ty. Ty. Hey,
I'm terrible at names too, bro. I feel you.
Here's the question. When you mention help desk, that's kind of general. The question is, what help desk role specifically? When we mention like get started on help desk, that's a great way to gain experience. Can you kind of detail which role of help desk that you are referring to?
I get like, are they like what industry? I guess I'll check. I'll
Yes.
look in the chat.
Like a high IT help desk or service desk help desk or security help desk. Like which role? IT generalist. Like how would you Google search a help desk? Because this could be like a customer service at a bank and you're doing help desk support. So how do you know if it's an IT help desk?
I mean, yeah, when it comes down to like the searches, like on Indeed and all that, like yeah, you could type in like IT help desk, like that. See, that's like the screwed up thing about IT too, is that there's so many job titles, and there's so many job titles that are like so similar to one another. All the job titles are just completely skewed. Like if you go out on Indeed right now, and I'm telling you, like you go on Indeed right now, you could look up network engineer, right? Like those that you look up two different network engineer positions, and like you're gonna get like a completely different like description for each one of those. Like one network engineer might truly be a network engineer, where all day, every day, like they are involved in the actual network of your infrastructure, right? And then this other network engineer job description, you might find that like, oh, like you're going to be like working a little bit on the network, but like you're also like actually like more of a systems administrator.
Right.
And like you guys will definitely see this when you look up jobs. So like it's really difficult to like find like, hey, like these are the best ways to like search for these jobs, because like unfortunately like you just have to go through and weed through them and look through the job descriptions, because those job descriptions are going to be the most like the best way to find out really what this role entails and really like what it's lined up for. So like you could definitely search up help desk, but like you said, like you're going to get help desk for like, you know, a call center or something, and it might not be like IT related. So yeah, like you're going to have to look in the job description. But what you could do is just like help desk plus like any type of like technology. So like CompTIA, you know, you could look up help desk, networking and help desk. Like you just throw in like the different like technology terms, and that's going to like filter those results a little bit more in your favor to find really what you're looking for. But still, like at the end of the day, like you just got to look at them job descriptions, because even a help desk role, right? A help desk role in an IT company, you could take two different job descriptions. They're going to be completely different from one another, you know? So it's like, like it takes time. It's not an easy thing to just go out and apply for IT jobs. It actually, like you actually have to take some time and do this. And I see a lot of people complain about that, but you know, like the truth of the matter is, and like this is a pro tip right here for everybody out there. Like when you're reading these job descriptions and like you find one that like suits your needs, like you need to be tailoring your resume to match like what you're seeing on this job description. If you're applying for it, you need to tailor that cover letter to match what you're seeing in this job description and what this company is doing. Like that's going to take you a lot of time. So you're not going to be able to like, go through an Indeed and just click like apply, like all in a row, and it automatically does it for you. No, like you want to make an impact. Like you want to get this job or not, because you got to take the time and put in the work to get recognized for it. Like you need to like show up. You need your resume to show up in their inbox, right? So like you need to like have that the details of that job description filtered into your resume, right? Like those key technologies, like if you have experience in them, like you need to highlight them in some way. I mean, we could go on, like we could probably have a live stream dedicated to like doing that, right? But like that's kind of like, but I'm just getting at like you guys have to put in the work to do that, to like get noticed. That's not easy. I'm sorry. Like it's going to take you time, but like if you want to get noticed, like that's what you got to do. That kind of went off topic to like towards the question, but like just still falls back on like, you know, you just read the job descriptions, unfortunately.
Right. And to go with that, you know, if you can find somebody that's in the industry that's doing that's willing to help you, once you have those jobs that you want to apply for, go to them so they can help you tailor your resume to make sure that you are using those keywords. Because oftentimes, especially when you're coming from a different industry, let's say you're in the banking industry or you're in the trucking industry, a lot of times you have basic IT skills. You just don't know how to apply them on your resume to list them as experience. You know what I mean? Like if you use Microsoft Office and you use the type of Word documents and you've done RFPs or whatever for your job, all of that is IT experience. So to put that on your resume, that's something that working with somebody that's in the industry and they can ask you, okay, what have you done? Look at your own resume and then apply those skills for that help desk role or whatever engineering role you're applying for.
Yep, 100%.
All right, next question. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Appreciate all the moderators holding down the questions. If you all have questions, drop them in the chat. If I can't help you or Zach can't help you, there are moderators standing by to give you that A1 assistance. Now, Zach, next question on everybody's mind.
Yeah, what? I was doing that too.
Yeah. What IT certifications matter?
You want an honest answer? You want me to be like 100%?
Yeah, 100%.
100%. Okay. What IT certifications matter? Any of them. That's it. Period. The end. We close on that question. Like legit. Any of them matter. All of them matter.
Okay, tell
Because
me more.
so any certification, like I give a lot of hate to the Google IT support certification. You know, I honestly do, because like not a lot of people, not a lot of jobs are looking for people who have that certification, unfortunately.
It's new.
Right.
Yeah.
But still, at the end of the day, like it validates that you know something. And unfortunately, like with a lot of companies are looking for some type of validation that shows, oh, you better turn that 4K off, bro.
Oh no, my 4K just went blank. Let's see if we can fix that. Let's see what we
You
can
got a
do.
different cam.
I do. Let's see if I can get to it. I
You
may
could
not.
turn the one off in Zoom and just throw it in there, because you'll have to turn that off and let it cool down for a minute.
Oh man, that's
It,
not what's up. Hold on. Let's switch to you. Go ahead, bro.
all right. What? So yeah, the certs. Okay, so like honestly, any certification is going to be helpful. Are there better certifications than one another? 100%, right? So like it goes back to like, hey, are you researching the things that you need? Like, are you researching, these jobs that you are like you want to do? Are you researching this path that you want to take? Like, whether it's network engineering, whether it's cybersecurity, whether it's systems administration. Like, once you kind of identify like these are the areas that you want to start getting into, then you start finding these certifications that actually kind of line up to these things. So like, you want to be a system administrator and you have no experience at all. Like, one of the first things I always tell people, like, I guess first of all, is like the CompTIA A+. Like, if you know nothing and you're like trying to like figure this stuff out, CompTIA A+ is honestly one of the best certifications that you can get to learn about IT, but also validate like your skills, right? And the CompTIA A+ gets so much hate from people like that's the certification's worthless. It's blah 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 blah. But go out on Indeed right now and look up CompTIA A+. You are going to get thousands of results of jobs that are looking for people who are CompTIA certified. So when you hear somebody say the CompTIA A+ is worthless, I promise you the facts are they have no idea what they're talking about, because that certification is needed and required in many, many places. Department of Defense, for instance, requires you have CompTIA certifications, right? Like, makes sense, right? Like, it's valuable certification, whether you like it or not, whether somebody else likes it or not. It's just one of those good certifications. That's what it is. You know,
playing devil's advocate. When we talk about the A+, it's 2021. Is it still as valid today as, let's say, 5-10 years ago?
No.
So
it's not, I wouldn't say it, because it's, if you looked at, because this is something that I do often, is I do take the time and look up like CompTIA, CCNA, and all these different terms. You helped me with that script, by the way, the Python script, right? Like,
right.
We see like how many jobs there are. Well, like literally in the last like 2 to 3 years, like CompTIA, like A+ certification in specific, went from like having over 10,000 jobs listed at any given time to like 3,000 or so. So that is huge, right? Like that says like, oh, like something's happening here, right? Like something's happening with that. Not as many people are requiring it, whatever it may be. So yeah, I mean, it's not what it used to be, I guess, but it's still a valuable cert. Just like any other certification is valuable, because it shows some skill. It shows some validation for you. It's helpful.
Oh, okay. So, but the Security Plus has a different outlook in the industry.
I feel like everybody should get the Security Plus. I feel like the Security Plus should be like the default certification that anybody who works in IT gets.
Right.
Because going forward, you said it's 2021. Going forward, cybersecurity, like that whole side of the industry, right? Like everything about it, you're gonna need to know about. Like, I'm not saying you got to be an expert in it, but like something like the CompTIA Security Plus, like that's going to give you a lot of great fundamental knowledge to really help you in your career, but also help you advance in your career. Because I promise you, more and more companies are going to be looking at security certifications. Whether you're in network engineering, systems administration, you're in the cloud, it don't matter. They are going to be looking to see if you have any type of security background, security experience, or security certifications. Plain and simple.
Right. And so when we talk about working for the government, one of the certifications that's listed as, I forget the actual code number. I think Tim knows the number of the code for the required certifications. Now, it isn't listed as a required, it's an optional security certification. As long as you have one of these security certifications, yeah, the DOD 8570, that's it. So there's a rec number, or I don't even think it's called a policy number for the DOD. It's called 8570. And it's a list of certifications that you can have that say that you're qualified for a job. And one of the certifications is on there is the Security Plus. So that, in a sense, makes the certification valuable because it validates you being qualified for the government and for private sector.
Yep. Yeah, sorry. I'm.
Oh, you're good, bro.
I'm the only one on the screen, and I'm sitting here like replying to the old lady because she's like, "What time will you be done?"
Tell her I won't keep you too much longer.
No, you're all good.
I got you, bro.
I said, I'm not sure. We're killing it right now. We're going through questions. Like, chill out. Uh-oh, you're going to have to switch your camera on the stream.
Yeah, it's not switching. Hold on. There we go. We back.
All right.
Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know what you want.
Nah.
What do you want me to say to that? Yeah, like security certifications, man. Like, whether like you're just getting started, you're trying to advance your career, like I promise you that stuff is going to help you. Having that knowledge is going to be very beneficial for you, you know, like for sure. I love CompTIA Security Plus. That is the best certification that CompTIA offers, hands down, like by far, from my opinion, my point of view. It's the most valuable one that they have.
Yes, somebody said that the Pentest Plus is coming on strong.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely is, for sure. But I mean, I don't want to talk about the Pentest Plus because I'd rather talk about the PNPT, that's the practical networking penetration tester certification.
That's a new one?
Yeah. So that's from TCM Security, from my job.
Oh, my bad. Let me give you full screen for that. Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead, bro.
You're all good. No, you don't have to do all that. It's all good. But yeah, the PNPT, practical networking network. I can't even talk right now. PNPT, practical network penetration tester certification. You guys can go to TCM Sec. It's here. Let's see, TCMsec.com. You can find info on that. So if anybody out there in your live stream right now is familiar with the Cyber Mentor, he's big on YouTube, right? He's big in the security area. So you could look up, just Google the Cyber Mentor, he'll come up. I'm working with him now for his company, TCM Security, the brand manager. I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff over there, which I'm totally excited about. But he just recently, in the last year, not even year, created his own certification, which is his PNPT. And everybody who's gone through it so far says that it's, comparable or better to like the OSCP or the CEH. Like, it's a big deal. Like, so this is like literally like the most practical certification when it comes to penetration testing that you're going to find. And it's so much cheaper than everything else out there. So like literally, like if people follow me on LinkedIn and stuff or Twitter, like I kind of like I've mentioned a couple times, like we're gonna like break the internet. Like me and Heath, like Heath Adams is the Cyber Mentor. Like we're gonna break the internet with this, and we're going to for sure, because this certification is $300. It's a $300 certification, and it literally will validate for you that you have these practical skills to become a penetration tester. And we have companies like Tenable who are putting our certification as a job requirement. We're having a lot of very big companies saying, yeah, if you have the certification, like we want you, right? Like, so when you go through job descriptions, you're going to find a few of them out there, and we're going to make it happen even bigger. Like we want more and more companies to put that on their job description, obviously, but not just being like whatever, like trying to like plug who I'm working for and all that now. But I mean, we're making a big impact in the industry, specifically in cybersecurity. And I couldn't be more honored or proud to be part of that. Like I say it every single day. Like I have my dream job now, and I'm working with one of the coolest people I've ever met in my entire life. And we are going to break the internet.
You inspire me. That feeling is something I always desired in tech, is to be in a situation that aligns with your goals, and then you can also give back, and you're working with people that inspires you to be great. That's what it's all about, bro. And I'm really happy for you. Can you do me a favor?
What's up?
Can you put y'all Discord in the chat too?
My Discord?
The Cyber Mentors Discord.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You got that? For those that are looking to get in cybersecurity, because y'all got a pretty good big Discord as well, right?
Yeah, I don't know, it's like 30,000 members or something. It's pretty big.
Exactly. Put that in the chat, bro.
For sure. Finding it right now.
Appreciate it.
I always forget how to invite people. There it goes. Cool.
Yeah, y'all make sure y'all check out this Discord if you're looking to get in cybersecurity. Like Zach said, there's over 30,000 members in the Cyber Mentors Discord. So make sure that y'all go join that. If you got questions, bring them. I'm sure there's, with 30,000 people, there's always somebody willing to help.
It's always popping for sure. I want to I just want to share this with people so people can understand. Like, I started IT career questions because I wanted to help people. Like, I never cared how much money I was going to make. I didn't care about like the YouTube plaque. Like I don't care about that. Like that's not what IT career questions was started for. The whole reason was just because I wanted to help people. Right. Like I was working in IT. I understood what people needed to do. And like, I was like, I can help some people. And, it evolved to something like I never thought it would. Right. But like at the end of the day, like I just want to help people. Like, that's it. Like, that's what completes me in my life. Like, that's what makes me whole. Like that, everything about that, just helping somebody else. And I'm not trying to go out and help millions of people. Like, if I can help one person, I always say this, like, if I can help one person, like that's mission complete. Right. I'm blessed and honored to say, like, I've helped thousands of people, and I don't know how to feel about that. I'm not going to get into we're not going to go deep into those feelings, but it's about helping people. It's about giving back to the community and making and people aware of like the potential that they have. Right. Like so much about that. And if anybody here in your live stream right now is familiar with Heath Adams, the Cyber Mentor, they know that he is the exact same way. So like for me, like to be working with somebody who represents everything that I stand for, because literally like this guy gives back to the community constantly. He is one of the most genuine people I have ever met in my entire life, right? Like this dude, he cares. He wants to help people, genuinely wants to help people just like me. So like for me to be able to just share any part of my life with this, like with this guy, with this company, I can't even put into words. It's like, this is like what I was meant to do. Like, yeah, it's so powerful to be sharing that feeling with somebody, to be able to share like this experience and to have like this vision, this shared vision. Like, this is what it's about. At the end of the day, like, we're helping people, and we're going to help people, and we are going to continue to help people. And that bleeds through in, I think, everything that both of us stand, and you too. Like, I'm not trying to keep you out, but like that like that bleeds through in everything that we do, man. Like, yeah. Everybody, like, I get it all the time. Like, Zach, you're so genuine, you're so authentic, like you're real. Like, yeah, I am going to keep it real every day of my life. I just want to help you guys, right? Like,
Yeah.
I feel bad sometimes. Like, I got to do sponsored videos. Like, hey, I got 4 kids too. Like, I got mouths to feed. That's not what it's about. Like, don't take and look at, like, you know, sponsored videos like, oh, I'm selling out and blah, 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 blah. No, like, I got mouths to feed, you guys. Still, at the end of the day, like, I'm there to help you. You know, Heath is there to help you. Like, yeah. So anyway, like, yeah, we're going to do some big things, and I'm just stoked, man. Like, it's literally like a dream job. When he posted that he was looking for this, he was originally looking for like a social media person, you know, and I saw him post it, and I sent him an email, and I was like, you know, I won't say exactly what was said because it was kind of funny, inappropriate, you know, whatever. But, you know, sent the email, and literally 10 minutes after I sent the email, him and I were on the phone talking. And 3 days later, I had my job offer in my email, you know. Like, it was meant to be. Like, that's fate. Like, that is 100% fate when I look at it. Like, somebody was watching out for me, because for him and I to, like, be able to partner up on this, like, I'm not his partner. I work for him, but I said, you know, like, to be able to work with him and do the things that we're going to be doing, it's emotional for me. I don't think people, like, realize, like, how emotional I get about this stuff. And some people have probably seen, like, I've gotten emotional in videos before, but, like, really, like, truly, honestly, like, helping people and making, you know, an impact in their life, like, that's really emotional for me. Like, that's a really big thing for me, because it literally goes back to me dropping out of high school. Like, that's where all of my, like, this is where, like, all these feelings come from. Like, I started at nothing. Like, you know, like, I should have been thrown out into the streets, right? Like, as that principal said, like, I was a lost cause, you know, but look at where I'm at now, you know, like, it's surreal, bro. Like, it's a dream. It's a lot. It's a lot, but I just want to help people. That's at the end of the day, that's it.
You're doing that, man. You're doing that. Yo, here's a question, kind of shifting. When it comes to talking about helping people get started in tech, one of the things that people don't talk about enough is the things to avoid on their journey. With how long you've been in IT, what are some pitfalls that you would share with people that they should avoid when entering IT? You don't have to give me many, just one or two.
This is really the only one, man. Like, when it comes down to it, because I think you're going to see, like, it's, again, like, you could ask that question to 100 different people and you're going to get 100 different results. Right. But I think, like, the one thing that's going to stand out the most, and not a lot of people are going to talk about it, but is, like, you don't need to know everything to work in IT. And everybody who comes to me is like, I need to know this, and this, and this, and this. And, like, they feel like they're not doing enough, and they feel, you know, XYZ different feelings about, I need to know all of these different things. And even when you ask 100 different people, you're gonna be like, they're gonna each say, like, you need to learn this and you should learn this. So it's like, you got 100 different things that you need to learn. No, right. No. Like, you don't need to know everything. Like, you guys, you have to get that through your head as quickly as possible. You are not expected to know everything, right? Like, that is not an expectation. You cannot know everything. It's impossible. Start somewhere, start anywhere. You just have to start and finish one thing, then move on to the next thing. Don't try to learn everything, because it's never going to happen. And don't think that you need to know everything, because that's impossible. People working in IT for 20, 30 years, even network engineers who work in IT as a network engineer for 20 years, right? 20 years is a long time. They still don't know everything. Like, you have to understand that. Like, get that out of your head that you need to know all of these different things. And, like, the next thing that comes after that is like, well, what about in a job interview when they ask me, like, if I know something and, like, but I don't know it, right? Like, what happens? Well, they're not expecting you to know everything, first of all. Like, they can't expect you to know that. But here's another pro tip for you. If you get asked a question in an interview and you don't know, especially when it comes to a technical thing, like this is the answer that you give or something similar to it. I'm not familiar with that technology, but I'm going to go home and I'm going to look it up. I'm going to go home and I'm going to put that into my own home lab. I'm going to go home and I'm going to do these things. Like I'm getting on YouTube, I'm getting on Google, I'm getting on Reddit. I'm going to learn about it. Don't even give them an opportunity after you say, like, you don't even want to say, no, I don't know it, and stop your sentence right there. I'm not that familiar with that technology, but here's what I'm going to do. Don't even give them an opportunity to like butt in. Like you need to show them like, okay, you don't know it, but you know how to figure it out, because knowing how to figure something out is 1,000 times more valuable than like actually knowing that one thing sometimes.
Right.
Like knowing how to find things and understand things, knowing how to do the research and figure things out for yourself. Anybody who interviews you, if they see that, they're going to know. Like they are going to know based off of that answer that I just told you to give them. They're going to know that you got that, like you got that hunger in you, you got that drive in you, and you know how to figure stuff out. So like, it's okay that you don't know it, but you know how to figure it out. So you're all good. Like I've given that answer so many times in an interview, so many times. And it's helped me every step of the way. Cause like I've seen on people's faces, even like a smirk or whatever, like you could tell like, oh, all right, well, he don't know it, but he's going to figure it out. He knows what to do to figure it out. Right. That's a big deal, especially in an interview. Like they're not always looking for the right answer. Like they want to see like your thought process. They want to see like, how you go about troubleshooting different things. Like they just want to see like how you go about these different things,
Yeah, that's a great point. When we talk about not knowing everything, I was listening to a book. I'm trying to think of the name of the book, but it was by Jim Rohn. And he was talking about how the reason why most people aren't successful is because they either live in the past or they live in the future. And I think in IT, it's common for people to focus on the next position they want and not the position that they're in. You know what I mean? And I think you learn the most important thing about IT is experience. It's not really certification, it's experience. And it's the right experience. And I think if I say one thing when it comes to all the videos I made, is that I always try to stress that. Like, it's great to have certifications. Like, those are amazing. But your experience is king.
But Dwan, how do you get into IT if you don't have experience? How you start applying for entry-level jobs like help desk jobs, and they require 3 to 5 years experience. How are you supposed to get experience when all of these entry-level jobs are saying, hey, you need experience to work in this job? So what do you do? You want me to tell you what you do? I'll tell you guys what you do. You lab every day. That's what you do. I'm not even kidding with you guys. I'm not joking with you. I'm not playing. Like, you want to give yourself experience because you got no experience. Start labbing every single day. Build your own experience. Like, download VirtualBox, download Packet Tracer. These are ways you can virtualize an entire network. Packet Tracer will allow you to virtualize, switches and routers, your network, right? VirtualBox will let you virtualize basically any single operating system you could possibly imagine, right?
Right.
Like, you have all the tools right there in front of you to help you build experience. And how do you put that on your resume? Like, you find, like, I hate to, like, you find ways, but like, I don't want to get into the whole weeds of like the resume part of it, but like, you will find ways to get that on your resume. And I highly suggest people check out KevTech IT Support's Discord server, because they do a lot of resume help over there. So just another shout out to him, because they are always helping people with that stuff. From what I remember, KevTech will tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they do that. So, but yeah, like, once you start like labbing every day and doing these things, like that stuff is going to help. You'll be able to get it on your resume, and you're going to be able to show like, hey, I got some experience. I was able to do this. I was able to stand up an entire network from my computer, right? Like, I just stood up this whole network of like, 3 different virtual machines. I got like server 2019, I got a Windows 10 box, and I got a Linux box. and they're all talking to each other. They're all doing something. One's a file server, one's a domain controller. You got Active Directory rolling. I'm not going to go into the networking stuff because that's not my specialty. You could do that. But you know, like there's just so much that you could do to literally get experience under your belt, because you guys are going to figure out like nobody is going to give you experience. Nobody's just going to give it to you, right? Like you got to work for it. So work for it. Start labbing every day. Like that's a big deal, you know? And certifications, like, you know, that helps show not necessarily experience, but it does help validate, you know, like they do say like some certifications, so like X amount of experience and blah, 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 blah. It's still not experience, right? Like it's just helpful, right? It's just a validation point for you.
Good point. Good point. Good point. Good point. The last question I want to ask you before I open up the chat is this. If you could do it all over again, Zach, would you do it the same way, or what would you do different? Like, what would you change?
Man, you know what? It honestly kind of goes back to where I'm at right now. So it's like, I hate looking back sometimes. I hate doing that because it's like, if one thing would have been different, maybe I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. I have like that kind of like weird mentality about this thing. Like I've done that where I've gone and thought about the past and what could be different. And yeah, there's things that I definitely would change for sure. Like I wish I would have graduated high school. I wish I would have got my GED sooner. Sometimes I wish I would have went to college, right? Like sometimes I wish I would have got on the certification train sooner. There's a lot of things, but like at the end of the day, like again, everybody has their own journey. You ask 100 different people, like, what would you change? You're going to get 100 different results. For me, I look at it, I'm like, man, my journey, it was interesting. It was an interesting journey, but like where I'm at right now, I can't look back right now and say I would change anything, because I don't know if anything was changed, I would be where I'm at today. And I know that's not like the answer that you're looking for or that people are looking for, but like, yeah, like unfortunately, like that's what it is, you know? But I mean, I did kind of answer it. Like, yeah, I wish I would have done a couple different things for sure. I wish I would have got aboard the cloud train a little bit sooner. And I say that because like, as the cloud started to like really kind of like come around and evolve and all that, like so many people like made it seem like such a difficult thing. Like they've really made it seem like this is this hard, very complex like thing, the cloud, right? Like AWS and Azure and all that. Like everybody makes it seem like it's this, I don't know, man, like this, it was just like this super hard thing. So I immediately was like, okay, like I don't got time for that. If it's that hard, like I don't got time for that, right? But then one day, like, I don't know, I watched some video of somebody just spinning up AWS, and I looked at like, you know, I'm going to call it the control panel, and that's not the right term for it, but I only say that because of my web development past. cPanel. If anybody's ever done web development or anything like that before, like you get like a hosting account, they have this thing called cPanel, which is control panel. It has a lot of like different tools and stuff in there. But like the moment I saw that like in AWS, like their UI, I was like, man, this is like cPanel. Like it was, I started getting like all these similarities, right? Like, and it made it like, why did I wait so long? Like there is nothing that difficult about this. Like at least learning it, right? Like at least like trying to understand the fundamentals of it. Like it's not as hard as you like anybody thinks it would be. Like it's not like this difficult thing. It's like literally like, you know, you could sign up for an AWS account and within 10 minutes you spun up a server. Like that's how freaking crazy and easy it is to do. Yes, there's much more complex things that you're going to do within the cloud, but just getting started, you know, it's not as big as it was. So like, I wish I could have gone back and got on that train much sooner, for sure. Hands down. Like, yeah.
And it's not even like too late for anyone that wants to get started. Started. I think the cloud isn't, you know, even close to where it's going to be. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So if you want to get into that industry, the time is now.
Yeah.
And you'll still be out ahead.
I think, and everybody asks like, what's the best thing, you know, like what's the best path for me? What are the best technologies that I should be learning? or, you know, blah, 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 whatever, you know, it's like, I'll always go back and say, like, it don't matter what I say, right? Because like you need to figure out what you want to do and what makes you happy.
Right.
Like go through all these different job descriptions and like we said earlier, and figure out what people are doing on a day-to-day basis and all that. But like still, like at the end of the day, you want like a real, honest, like truthful answer. Anything in cybersecurity and cloud, period. Like the end, because those are the industries that are just going to freaking skyrocket forever. Like
Yeah.
they're not slowing down, and we need people to help support these things, especially in security, for sure. And then, like, if you want to make a bunch of money, go be a developer, go code all day. Okay.
Man, that's my dream. That's my dream. It's just to be locked somewhere coding all day. Like that would be a dream job. That as a network engineer, I was most fulfilled when I was working on an iteration for my project. That was the time when I could learn something new, apply it to networking, and write a piece of code that's worked, that's new, and get it pushed into production. Like that feeling right there is like the ultimate fulfillment, and
Yep.
for me in tech. So that's what's up, bro. Yo, thanks, Zach, for doing this interview, man. I really do appreciate you, and I appreciate you taking out this time.
You know, anytime, man. Come on. You know, like I said when we first started this, like, if you guys don't know, you coming in late, like, we talk on a weekly basis. I think, you know, like whether it's over text message or we're getting on the phone talking to each other, like, you are truly, honestly, one of my best friends. Like, we still never met in real life, and we're going to one day for sure. But like, man, like you've helped me tremendously, and since the time I've known you, right? Like you've just been like that person for me that's just been like this like rock, man. And like you're always positive and motivational for me. And I look at you and I look at the things that you do, and like I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you, man. Like truly and honestly, like I'm so happy for you. And I don't get like jealous or envious in a bad way, but like there's just so many like great things about you that I wish I could take on more of, you know, because like you go out, you want to do something, you go and do it. Like I like give you applause for that, because like you've put in so much work to get to where you're at today.
Thanks, bro.
Like you put in that work though, man. Like you did it. And like I want you to be proud of yourself just as much as like I'm proud of you and your family's proud of you. And I'm sure a lot of people in this live stream are proud of you, man. Like that mentality that you have, then the motivation that you have for what you do is inspiring. Like you inspire me.
Thanks,
Period.
bro. Back at you, man. Back at you. Hey, everybody in the chat, if you got questions for Zach, drop them in the chat. We ain't going to take too much more of his time. We want to make sure we get these questions out quick and easy. So if you have them, appreciate you dropping them. Shout out to the moderators. Keep it techie. I see you, family. Appreciate y'all holding it down. He said, lab everyday meetup in Vegas. I don't think we will. If you catch me in Vegas, I'm not making it to a meetup. I love Vegas. It'll be hard to do anything serious for me in Vegas.
Right. I can't wait to go to Vegas again. That was such a good time.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Here, Sam Jones got a question. I'm sorry, I'm like taking over for you.
No, you got to go ahead, bro.
Sam Jones says, "What exactly is your job role, and what does your day to day consist of?" So my job role with TCM Security right now, that my job title is brand manager, and I mean that consists of a lot of different things because we're a startup, right? Like we got like 4 people working for us with us. You know, it's 4 of us. So I take on a lot of different things, you know, so social media. Right now I'm redesigning our academy site. So for TCM Academy, completely redeveloping that website. Like that was the first project that I took on, because even before I started, I was like, I made this list of things before like Heath even sent me my job offer. I was like, I sent him like a whole page of like, here's the things that I've seen so far that need to be done, right? Like, here's all the stuff that I can do and I can help you with. And that was just like the start of it, right? But like the first thing was like, man, we gotta get you a different website for this academy, because we got to do a lot of like search engine optimization stuff. So a lot of things like that, right? But so that's like the first project that I've really taken on, and that's been keeping me busy for the last few weeks. So my day to day is like, it's funny because I said, like I told you guys earlier in the stream, like in 2008, 2009, I never wanted to develop a website ever again for the rest of my life, and here I am today developing a website. It's really, really funny for me. Like like I I can't believe it, but I'm super happy about it, and I'm proud of like the work that I've done so far, because it's looking really good. So yeah, my day to day is like, honestly, like I'm in HTML and CSS all day, and like graphic design and all that stuff right now. But like, going forward, like I'm going to be developing courses for TCM Academy. So I'm not going to get a lot of details about that, but that's going to be fun. So I'll be doing that. I'll be managing all their social media, like a lot of different content creation, just like a lot of different things, man. Like I joke around when I say this, I'm sure a lot of people have heard the term jack of all trades, but I'm a Zach of all trades. Like, like it's just, like I say, I keep saying I'm blessed and like honored and that, but like, you know, and going back to your question, like, what would I do differently? Right. Like, well, hey, back in 2000, I started doing web development. I learned about search engine optimization. I learned about internet marketing. Like back in from 2000 to 2008, like I was involved in internet marketing. Like that's what I did essentially. Like it started with web development, then it was marketing. And like, I've always kind of like been abreast of everything happening in those areas, So like, that was experience that I got then, right? And then I transitioned to like the infrastructure side of IT, and I got to understand like the ins and out of like how IT works and all the different things of that. So like now for me, like I'm in this position where I get to take everything that I learned back in from 2000 and everything I learned from like 2009 going forward, and I get to mash them together in like this perfect harmony. And it's just like, that's what's so surreal to me about it, is like I actually get to utilize like all of the skills that I've learned throughout my life. And what's even cooler about that and more important about that is I get to utilize these skills that I've taught myself. Like, you know, not a lot of people could say like, they're a high school dropout and they taught themselves all this stuff, and then like they're out there like doing their dream job, right? Like it's yeah.
That's the truth. That's the truth, bro. That's the truth. Like I said, man, you're inspiring, man. Hey, the next question is from Dart. This question is, what are the 3 essential skills that carried you to get to where you are in your career?
Customer service, number 1, hands down. Like, especially when you're just starting out, and it does not matter what position you're starting out in. So I don't care if you're starting out in help desk, you're starting off as a system administrator, network, whatever. Customer service. You are always going to be dealing with people. And the quicker that you can adapt to dealing with people, because I was an introvert, right? Keep in mind, like I dropped out of high school when I was 14. I didn't have friends. Like I had like one friend from the time I was like 14 to like 21, right? Like one, I'm not even kidding you guys, like one friend. I didn't see nobody. I was told I hated people. I never wanted to talk to people. It was difficult for me to do. But once I like started getting into like different things where I had to start dealing with people, like I started to learn how to deal with people and how to talk with them and work with them. And it's one of the biggest things I think that really helped propel my career once I started to be able to effectively communicate with people and talk with them. And that's a skill that like, it's not a skill that you can go out and watch a YouTube video for and pick up right away. Like that's something that just takes time. Like, unfortunately, like that's going to take time for anybody to kind of learn and adapt to. So don't beat yourself up right away if you're in a position like that. Like it's going to take time, and that's okay. It's okay. It'll be all right. Like you'll keep advancing and keep going forward and all that. Right. Like, so like, it's again, like if you would have said like 20 years ago, you know, I guess it would, like, if we went back to 2014 and somebody like 14 years, like in 14 years, you're going to be on YouTube doing these videos. I would have been like, yeah, right. Like, get out of here. You like, no, like, first of all, YouTube didn't even exist back then, but like, there's no way I would ever put myself in front of people and try to talk to them. But because I worked in IT and these roles that I had to deal with people, like, I got over all that, you know, like, so like, that's one of the big things. And then I'm sorry, I just go on like these like tirades. I feel like,
no, you're good, bro.
What was it was the 3 essential skills that carried you. Yeah. So customer service, always be learning, man. Like, that's number 2. Like, you always have to be able to like adapt and learn to what's coming, because technology is one of these fields that's evolving on a daily basis. Things change quickly, and you have to be able to learn to pivot quickly as well. So that's one thing that I've been able to do very, very well, is just like pivot with the industry and kind of like go with the flow of things. And I think there's a lot of people get stuck in their careers in IT is because they're afraid to learn. They don't want to learn. But like, if you want to excel, you got to learn, and you got to be willing to learn. Yeah.
You have to be willing to learn.
And then, networking for sure. Like, networking with people, like building a network around you of people who share, similarities to you and things that you want to do. And like that's truly going to be very helpful for you. Yeah. So I think like those are the things that really help carry my career personally.
Yeah. Hey, there's a question from a dog named Zeus. Making the career change to cyber in January, doing labs and try to hack me every day. In your opinion, what's the certification to get? I currently have Security Plus.
What do they want to do? They just want to work in cybersecurity?
Yeah. Yep. It says they're looking like, it looks like in January they're making that cybersecurity change. So they're trying to see what certification is going to be the one to get.
Well, it depends on like what area of cybersecurity you want to get into, because like if you look at cybersecurity, like cybersecurity isn't just one thing. Cybersecurity is like hundreds of different things, because there are like hundreds of different job titles that fall under cybersecurity alone. Threat analysts, and you got pen testers, and you got malware analysts, and like DFIR people, and like just like the list goes on and on and on and on. So it falls back to, you have to take the time and figure out what part of security like interests you the most, and then you have to start aligning kind of like your path to get to that point. So like, I can't tell you like what's next, because you have to figure that out. And like, once you figure out like, okay, all right, Zach, I want to be a pen tester, then come back to me and I can give you some suggestions from my point of view. Right. But then also reach out to other pen testers and ask them what they think. Right. Like, I'm not a pen tester. I've never been a pen tester, but I'm going to tell you why my perspective is valuable to you, because I talk to these people constantly. Like, for the content and everything that I do, like, it's not just coming from me. Like, I talk with my network of people and ask them, what do you think about these things? So it's not always just me. It's like, I go to the industry, I get the feedback from the industry, and I deliver whatever the industry is saying to the people, right? Like, that's what I try to do. I'm not trying to be a freaking expert here. I don't know everything, right? So like, I go to the experts that do know, not everything, but most of these things. And then I bring that back to people, So just putting that out there. Because I saw a comment about somebody like showing validation or some nonsense or whatever. Like, there's the validation right there. Okay? That's what I do. That's what I do. I've never once said I'm an expert in a gosh darn thing, but I talk to the experts because they know. And then I come back to you with that, because I want to help people. And, people don't have the network that I have, Like, I don't mean that in any type of negative way. Like, I built this great network of people that I can actually fall back on and talk with and ask these questions. And you guys can do that too. Build that network of people who have these jobs that align with where you want to go, and you can start asking them questions. Like, those are the people that you need to start building your network around. Like, they're going to give you the feedback, you know, they're going to give you the things that like you need to do. Like, there you go.
You know, like, there's no point in validating yourself.
I'm not validating whatever.
Your work. But what I'm saying is your work is your validation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's weird how the internet works, man.
Oh,
it's weird. And
it's all good. Yeah. I get that stuff sometimes, but so it's just like, whatever. That's fun.
Hey, so yeah, we can go on about that. But the thing is, like, how many videos you got on YouTube?
Like 850 or more.
Right. So I think for someone to say, like, where's your validation? Like, you got over 800 videos to where you talked about your entire career, you know? Like,
yeah, I've laid out my entire journey multiple times. Like,
yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I quit my job. You know what the thing is? Like, I talked about this recently too. Is like one of the biggest things that I regret is actually going full time on YouTube, because I miss working with people tremendously. But I quit my full-time job working at a hospital. I was doing mobile device management and security awareness training. Right. Like, those are two things that I freaking loved. Like, I loved my job. I absolutely loved my job. But like, going full-time on YouTube, that was like one of those things. Like, man, I was like, what, 34 at the time or whatever, 35. I don't know. I never wanted to look back when I was 50 being like, why didn't I try this out? Like, why didn't I do that? You know? So I was like, I'm going to try this. I'm going to see what happens. And
yeah, man. I remember when you did that, and I was like super intrigued, inspired, just like, yo, I don't even have the courage to leave my job to do YouTube. Now, granted, you had what, 100,000 subscribers at that time?
No, I only had 27,000 subscribers. When
oh my God.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes behind the scenes. Like, I had a lot of great sponsors at that time. Like, I had a lot of really amazing sponsors coming in. I was able to make that happen. And yeah. So
yo, that's faith. Like, if you really want to have 27, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine going full time on YouTube. Now, granted, I think I could, but
you could for sure, 100%, bro.
It
takes a lot, man.
Exactly. So if you want to be successful in this and go full time, like, it's going to be your full time life. Like, it's not an 8 to 5. Like, it's more like a 16-hour day every day. What's your thoughts? How was your journey on YouTube going full time?
I'm not a full time YouTuber anymore.
No, during that time, though. Like,
I'm just like that's kind of like it is not a fun journey, man. Like, it was 16-hour days, 18-hour days, and I you know, when I first started, I had 2 kids. Actually, when I first went full time on YouTube, I had 3 kids. Now I got 4 kids, right? Like, it's a lot, man. It's like, I was one person doing everything. And like, I know if Kev Runs on Duncan is still in this chat right now, like, he kind of was abreast of a lot of things that were happening, just with like the evolution of like what I was doing with the channel. And like, I just couldn't keep up mentally. Like, there was just so much to do to really take me to the next stage. And it was always like, here's what I have to go to get to the next stage. Here's what I need to do to like blah, 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 blah. And that means I have to put in like this many hours here and this many hours here. And like, how am I going to do this? And how am I going to do that? And it's just like, it was overwhelming.
You know, yeah, it's a lot. It's not like you're doing clickbaity videos. Like, you're doing videos that are helping people. So you got to do research on that. You got to make sure your topics, and then it's so niche, you know, so getting the type of views that's going to really sustain consistently, like that takes some serious work. Like, shout out to the people that are successful, you know, to go full time doing this, because YouTube is a grind. And for those of you that want to create YouTube videos, it's possible. You want to do it full time, it's possible, but you got to be willing to put in the work.
For sure. 100%. Yeah. I mean, like, I could quit working for TCM security like tomorrow and go back to full-time YouTube, but I don't think I would ever do that ever. is way too stressful. Like, I'm being just honest. Like, there's some people out there that freaking kill it and they're able to do it, and I applaud them for that. I'm very happy for them that they are capable of doing that. But like for me, like it's not in my cards.
Yeah,
it's just not.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to continue to do it. But I'm not going to put the same focus on it that I did back then at all.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah. I think that's a good way to wrap this up. We've been on for 1 hour and 45 minutes. You dropped the sauce. You gave the gems. You took time and, you shared your journey. And I know you helped some people, man. Zach, I love you, bro. And I appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you, man. This, like I said, it's an honor just to be here and talking with you all and helping whoever I can. So thank you, man.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Shout out to the moderators that's holding it down. Really appreciate you. And thanks Kev IT Tech Support for doing that. Appreciate you. We'll catch y'all on the next video. Zach, I'll catch you, man. Thank you.
Take it easy, y'all.
Peace.